This is a presentation from the 2013 Cannabis World Summit. Please visit www.cannabisworldsummit.com for more great cannabis information, which is available to you completely for free. This information is being made available to you in part thanks to our sponsors. Please visit their websites to learn more about their excellent products and services. The following presentation is for informational purposes only. The opinions expressed are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Leaves of Hope Productions, Inc. Please note that regardless of any statements expressed or implied in the following presentation, that we do not condone you breaking any laws. We are not providing any legal, medical, or financial advice of any kind. No comments about cannabis being a cure for any medical use, expressed or implied, is to be taken as a claim or guarantee. None of the statements have been verified by the FDA of the United States, Health Canada, or the governing organizations of your particular country. And again, this information is being provided for informational purposes only, and the participants exercise their freedom of speech discussing what they believe to be true. We do not guarantee the accuracy of any information provided. It is your responsibility to evaluate the information before you choose to make any use of it. Please consult with a doctor knowledgeable about cannabis prior to using cannabis, and or prior to discontinuing any medications you may be currently using. Please check with the laws of your country and region to determine whether you are legally permitted to use and or grow cannabis prior to any involvement with cannabis yourself. Even though we believe that cannabis ought to be legalized, we do not condone you violating any laws. Please review the legal disclaimers on the Cannabis World Summit website and only proceed to enjoy this presentation if you agree with all legal disclaimers, agree to hold the company, Leaves of Hope Productions, Inc., and the presenters harmless and are of legal age in your region. Thanks to Kevin MacLeod and Incompetech.com for the music used in this introduction.
So I have Lincoln Horsley from CureYourOwnCancer.org again on the phone. We've already interviewed and we've spoken about a month or two ago for the summit. Of course, Lincoln's created an absolutely wonderful website and an online resource for people who have cancer or are studying how cannabis can help them with their cancer. So, of course, there's tons of information, tons of videos, and of course, links to all the relevant websites and online resources relating to this. So, of course, if you have cancer or if you know someone who does, this is an excellent resource. I've been, of course, recommending people very highly this website. So definitely, of course, keep this website in mind. But the reason why we're doing another interview today is actually something we've connected and we've been talking about a lot of different things. In fact, Lincoln and I have become friends after this entire process, after doing the interview. And we've come up with an interesting project that could be of benefit to a great many of you out there who've got cancer today, in the future, and we need your help. So this is actually an interview which is especially important for people who have cancer currently or who have had cancer and beaten it using cannabis. So please, if this describes you that you've either had cancer and have beaten it with cannabis or you currently have cancer, please to listen to this particular recording because there's some important information and we're actually calling out for your help to help the world and help other people with cancer as well. So, Lincoln, thank you once again for agreeing to do this call and for sharing this wonderful information and this project, what we're going to be discussing here today.
No, it's no problem. Thank you for working with me on it, I guess. So it's nice to have another partner in this adventure to try to make cannabis legal. So.
Definitely a pleasure. And, I've definitely enjoyed speaking with you. And for what it's worth, Lincoln is absolutely a fantastic guy. I mean, like off the record, off the phone, or off these interviews. I mean, he's got his heart in the right place. He's helping a lot of people. He keeps on sharing with me a lot of stories about people that he's helping with, helping them to instruct them to make their own oils. He takes phone calls, answers emails. He does a lot of things. He really cares about a lot of people. So please know that about Lincoln, that he's legitimate. He's definitely got his heart in the right place, and he's there to help you. So let's see how we can also help Lincoln help even more people here today. So, Lincoln, so of course we're talking about creating a new resource here for cancer people. Would you like to start off talking what it is that we're envisioning doing, or you're envisioning doing, and how can this be of benefit to people?
Yeah, well, it's going to be a project. I'm going to call it Project Cure Yourself, and what it's kind of going to, be involved in is anyone that has cancer and wants to start treating their cancer with cannabis oil, or anybody who has in the past had cancer and they've actually treated it and successfully cured themselves. We're just asking for you to send us testimonial videos. So whether that be you're treating yourself currently, and you video the whole process from start to finish, making the oil, doctor visits if you can get the doctor's approval to kind of get in there to get the actual medical information on tape. Just anything that you can do to kind of record your specific treatment, so that we can kind of hub all these videos and all these pieces of information together, and kind of collect them all in one site. And then ultimately, if we get enough, hopefully be able to form them into some type of documentary to be able to put on YouTube all in one video bundled together. So that's, I guess, the premise of what we're trying to do.
Okay, fantastic. So just for clarity's sake, I just want to specify that there's essentially 3 sub-projects or 3 areas that we're gathering this information, and how we're going to be working with this, and what, of course, those of you who are listening, how you can participate. So first of all, I wanted to just say, for what it's worth, imagine when you started, for those of you who've already beaten cancer using cannabis, imagine how it was back in the beginning when you first heard that cannabis can help with cancer. Of course, there's a part of you that is in disbelief, of course, about it, and you want to hear the testimonials. You want to be validated that you're not crazy, that in fact what you're doing is a good approach to take. A lot of people want to hear from other people who've been down that road to bolster the beliefs that, hey, if it worked for them, maybe it'll work for me too, right? So imagine the value it would have been for you had, before you started using cannabis for your cancer treatments, you've heard from many others who shared their experiences and how that could have helped you at least to understand what you're doing, perhaps learn from it, and of course just have more faith in this process as well. Do you have anything that you'd like to add to what I just said about that particular aspect?
Well, no, not really. The one thing that I feel is important with this, and kind of why I wanted to start it, is because, like you said, people want to be able to hear other people with the same type of disease that they were cured with it. It just makes you feel more comfortable. But with all these different things, I lost my train of thought after all I was going to say. Damn it. What was it? Shit, because I had something I was going to say, and I was waiting until you were done, and I lost it. Damn it.
That's okay, Lincoln. How about when you remember, just feel free to interject and put that point across, all right?
Yeah, okay. That's fine. Yeah, go ahead. It was just one thing I was going to say, but it's no big deal.
Okay, so essentially...
Oh, okay, I know what I was talking about. Okay,
go ahead.
Yeah, all I was going to mention was that the problem seems to be is that the scientific test, anything that's scientifically relevant, anything that you read, it's all done on mice, or it's all done in lab cultures, and some people don't like to take those results and say, well, that's going to happen with me because it happened in a rat. They don't compare it as the same. So to have, I guess, a huge list of testimonials that show that it's true kind of gives more positive feelings to them that they've seen people actually cured by it, as opposed to just the science results. Because the science obviously isn't alone doing enough, because the science is there and no one's trying to change the laws. No one's trying to change what we can see needs to be changed. So the only other way to do it, if they're not going to change the laws, is to show a mass amount of people that are doing it, because there's not a mass amount of people that are coming forward saying, hey, we need to change this. If we can get more people we get on board with this that kind of are behind us, it's harder for people to say no or to say that this doesn't work. And then having those together with the scientific evidence makes the case much stronger. So I guess that's what I was trying to say.
Well, essentially, of course, Unfortunately, science is not doing the adequate research because it's illegal for the scientists to be doing some of this research, and also a lot of pharmaceutical companies and researchers are not investing any money into this because, of course, there's no money for them to be made. You can't patent this plant, so of course there's no profits in it, so they're just simply not researching it. However, of course, science does not pay attention, generally speaking, to anecdotal evidence. However, since we're not getting any scientific research being done, and we know anecdotally that cannabis does work, if we provide a mountain of anecdotal evidence, that still might not necessarily be accepted by the scientific community. However, on a personal level, the overwhelming quantity of testimonials, that should at least prove something to the minds of most people that, of course, cannabis really does work. Now, there is, of course, a lot of scientific research that does support the fact that cannabinoids, such as CBDs and other cannabinoids, do kill cancer in petri dishes, rats and mice, and so on and so forth. And obviously, there's a lot of people who've had their cancers cured by using cannabis oils, but nonetheless, the purpose of what Lincoln and I are talking with all of you here today is to create that mountain of evidence for people to review and to see, but also, most importantly, for people who've just been diagnosed with cancer so that they can actually see the mountain of people who've been helped by cannabis so that they can realize, hey, this cancer is not necessarily a death sentence to me. If all these people have been cured by cannabis, I believe it'll work for me. And you know what? If you believe in it, I don't want to create any misrepresentations of psychosomatic or anything, but bottom line is, why stress yourself about the fear of dying when you can actually literally hold on to the belief that, hey, I'm going to kick this. It's going to work. It's worked for all these thousands of other people. It's going to work for me too. So that's where we're working.
And it's hopefully this is a way that people, like you said, will feel more comfortable watching. Hundreds of videos, a mountain of those, and hopefully we get a good return on that with people listening, that they'll want to be involved and they'll be brave enough to say, I'm just going to go ahead and put my name out there because, it can save somebody else's life, and that's ultimately what it would be about. And it's kind of why I put my name out there, even though where I live it's illegal. I feel, if I know it, I have to help people, and there are people that are still alive here on the planet because they've found my website. So it's doing its job, so hopefully we can sort of amp that up and help even more. So.
Well, Lincoln, just God bless you for what you've just said. I mean, it's illegal what you're doing. It's illegal, in the region, and of course, you're still doing the right thing. I mean, obviously your heart's in the right place. I mean, everything that you're doing. And by the way, I know that you're not charging people money for this. You're not profiting from this. You're just doing this from the goodness of your heart. And for that, I think people really ought to have a lot of respect for what it is that you're doing. I mean, I have a tremendous respect for you, Lincoln, for what it's worth, and that's why we're talking today.
Right, and hopefully people see that because that's a good way to have people see what I do. I don't want to be looked at as someone that's trying to make money on it, or snake oil salesman, or whatever people may have thought of for people that have done this in the past. I just really genuinely want to help. There's a problem that we have with this cancer in the world that we're in, on top of other diseases. And if we can take care of one, and and I know about it, it's just my responsibility, I feel like, to help. So that's what we're doing.
Fantastic. So for all of you listening, I want to be very clear. There's two side-by-side projects, and let's just explain these two projects. So first of all, the one project is specifically for those of you who have had cancer, who have beaten cancer already using cannabis, and the second project, which is, of course, in some respects the larger project that Lincoln and I want to talk with you about today, is for those of you who are currently dealing with cancer, who have, or preferably just recently been diagnosed and are willing to use cannabis as your first line of treatment. But anyways, if you're currently dealing with cancer, you'd be in the second project that we're going to talk about. But so for the first project, of course, Lincoln has already been explaining that what he's requesting is for you to submit a video testimonial, posting it on YouTube, and of course giving the rights, which we'll explain later on, giving the rights for Lincoln to reuse the videos in numerous ways. So, of course, one of the very first things that he would do once you submit the video is he will post your video on a web page on the CureYourOwnCancer.org website. There's going to be a page dedicated to this, so that first of all, people who have cancer and are looking for testimonials from others that it's worked for them, at the very least, immediately, those people will be able to find your testimonial, and their lives will be touched by your words, by your video. You can really make a difference for someone dealing with cancer today. So please record a YouTube video. Talk about what type of cancer have you had? How was it diagnosed? What did your doctors do? What did your doctors say? How did you come to cannabis? How have you used cannabis? Now, this is also important because, of course, people use cannabis in different ways. So just smoking it to handle the nausea of chemo is a completely different level of use than, of course, using the Rick Simpson hemp oil towards curing cancer. It's completely different purposes. But talk about what it is that you did so that people understand the results that you got is based on what type of cannabis use. So be really clear about that. And talking about anything else that's relevant, and including any tips that you might have and insights from your experience with using cannabis for your cancer. So share those videos. And then, of course, Lincoln, on his website on the CureYourOwnCancer.org, there's a page, I believe it's going to be linked called Cancer Testimonials or something along those lines, where you can find out how to submit your video. And, of course, for those of you who are looking for those types of videos, you can actually find it on Lincoln's website as well. Before we move on to the other project, Lincoln, do you have any other words that you want to say about this particular one? Oh, yes, and of course, talk about the documentary that could be edited from these videos as well.
The only real thing that I guess we would maybe need in addition for people who have cured themselves would be if they have any medical documentation. That seems to be an area where some lack, and it seems to a lot of times be if they've been told to go home and die, the doctors don't like to do any more tests on them until they're better, so there was no real documentation. So any documentation that people may have that shows, before and after scan results, or anything that just shows that, the doctors don't know why it happened, but there's a paper trail showing that they had cancer before and now they don't, because that's going to give, it's going to give a lot more weight to some of those testimonials. If they don't have that, that's not a problem. I've some people just don't get that from their doctor. But if those are available, even submitting those or putting those in the video, just holding them up and showing them on camera, whatever it is that, whatever your version is, just to show your documented proof that you had cancer and now you're cancer-free.
And also one thing that, of course, Lincoln, you mentioned before this call, and I think this is worth mentioning as well. A number of people might be reluctant to make these videos because, of course, technically speaking, a lot of you have done something quote-unquote illegal in order to cure your cancer. Now, Lincoln, would you like to say something about why they should still do this video anyways?
Well, the main reason I could say is the same reason that I do everything that I do, is that it's gonna help save somebody's life ultimately. It is illegal, and if you're listening and you've done it and you were in a place where it was illegal and you've made it in your lives, you should want to share that with your neighbor. You should want to share that with anyone that's around you, because it's wrong to not do that, in a sense, to me, because people are dying without the knowledge. And if you have it, it's kind of an obligation to share that or die with other people who are dying, because they have family members themselves. They have loved ones. Nobody wants to die. So it's more important to help people who are dying and sick than to kind of keep yourself in the shadows. If you know this and aren't talking, that's kind of worse to me than breaking the law, in a sense. So that's kind of why I do what I do. That's how I look at it. So.
Yeah. So have compassion. I mean, if you've been cured by cancer, or not by cancer, but by cannabis, if you've been cured by cannabis of your cancer, please. I mean, in a sense, you owe your life to this plant. At the very least, there's sort of a philosophy that if someone saves your life, then you kind of owe them something. You kind of owe them your life in a sense. Now, I'm not trying to paint any obligations here or guilt anybody into it, but if your life has been saved by cannabis, share your story so that it can inspire others, so that they can learn from your experience.
Well, that's the way I've thought about it. Like, if somebody stumbled upon my website, personally, if they found my website and that's what helped them, and it was illegal in their area, and they're live, they found my website and it's illegal for me. So just as they were glad that somebody was there to help them in their time of, desperate need, they would need to kind of, it's sort of like, the pay it forward type thing. Like you've got on your site, it is what it is. If you look at it in that regard, that you just do the nice things for people, if you just pass the information on, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything illegal. All you're doing is just telling what your treatment was and that it, what it did for you. And then that in itself is kind of going to pay back what you say you owe, because that's really all that you can do. So you can take it to different extremes. Like I've made a website and try to help people, but ultimately, if you just want to help the maximum amount of people that you can, just provide your story and we'll put it out there for people to be able to see.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely fantastic. And by the way, it's also important later on we're going to be mentioning the importance of also mentioning a few things in your video that gives the right to use your testimonial, because one of the other aspects of this project, of this Part 1 project of people who've already had cancer, so the past tense, is that there's a possibility, of course, Lincoln will be posting your YouTube videos on his webpage so that people can already find them and listen to them in the entirety. But there's the possibility now that we're not committing to this necessarily absolutely that this will happen, but it is an intention that can, of course, grow and build, is to take these videos and cut out little snippets of it to create a documentary of sorts. So can you imagine having a documentary where there's like 100 people who share snippets of their testimony of how cannabis has helped them, and of course providing insights and tips on how to use it. I think that such a video would really be of tremendous benefit to a lot of people who are currently facing cancer. So just to let you know that there is that potential for using the videos later on down the road. So we just ask that in the end of your video, what you simply do is simply make the statement that, quote unquote, something along the lines of, I authorize this testimonial to be published on the websites and also to be utilized possibly for other purposes, to create such a documentary. So just giving an authorization to use the video, because technically if you post something, I mean, it's copyright. You can't just use things without permission. But especially some of you may not necessarily want your videos to be used in this way, but we're requesting your permission to use the videos in this way, again, to be helping other people with as well. So this is not a for-profit project, in case you haven't figured this out. This is actually a for passion project. So just so that everybody's clear.
Right. There will be nothing made from this. All that it will be just be hopefully another helpful video that, like Run From the Cure is, where, that's what people are referred to, because it's such a good piece of information for people to watch. It does everything. And that's essentially kind of what I would be looking for here, is to get something along that level that people just want to spread around, because it's got so much information that it's relevant to most people, that they can pass it to their loved ones or someone, very quickly, and that it's helpful in that regard.
Okay. So now there's the second aspect of the project, and the second aspect of the project is specifically relating to people who currently have cancer, ideally someone who's just been recently diagnosed with it, but even those of you who are still dealing with it, of course, for an ongoing basis, please definitely pay attention as well. So there's another aspect of this project, and what we're hoping to find are people who are willing to document their personal journey with cancer. So, of course, have a camcorder. Now, just so you know, this is not a Hollywood-level production that we're talking about here. This is just literally completely amateur footage using your camcorders that you buy at the local electronics store, and record your journey with your cancer. When you go to doctor appointments, you can ask your doctor if you may record the appointment, and of course take shots of any of the documentation or paperwork that the doctor may have to support your cancer diagnosis and so on and so forth. Now, just so you know, if you mention to your doctor that you're doing cannabis treatments, or if you are planning on using this footage for some sort of cannabis-related documentary, most doctors will completely tell you to turn off the cameras. They don't want to have any involvement. They might even drop you as a patient. So don't do that, okay? What you might want to say is this, okay? If you go in with your camcorder to your doctor and say, listen, I'm creating a video journal of my progress in my journey with cancer. May I record this appointment and everything that you say about my cancer, so that I can, have a record of it, but I can also share this with family, friends, or anybody that I want to. Is that okay with you? Now, don't mention anything about cancer about cannabis. And if you don't mention anything about cannabis, and you just say that you're creating a video journal and you're documenting and you want to document everything of your cancer treatments and your journey with your personal journey with cancer, chances are your doctor will say that's fine, and especially if you say that you plan on sharing this with friends, family, and possibly others. Is that okay? And then getting their verbal permission, then you can use these videos in many ways. Do you understand what I'm saying? Lincoln, I wasn't saying that to you, Lincoln, because I know that you do understand, but I was actually hoping that people listening to this call understand perhaps what I just said. Do you have anything to clarify, anything that I just perhaps was mentioning?
Well, there's not really anything to clarify. Just for the people who are going to be submitting them, who want to, show their progress start to finish. Anything that you would have as far as, if you wanted to document your oil making procedures, how that looks for you, or, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, even just talking about it so that others, kind of have a gauge for that before they start, because that seems to be one of the scarier areas for people is on the first time making the oil, they're worried. They've not found the cannabis before. They're not sure that it's right. They, just whatever their reason is, that's one of the more worried areas. So trying to provide any types of information like that, maybe talk about your first dosage, how that made you feel, or how as a reoccurring thing, once you're taking it 3 times a day, how long did it take until you actually started to not feel any of the effects of the oil and you just felt like you're going about your normal day? Just pretty much anything that you've noticed within the time that you're treating it, any of those things. If you take pictures of yourself to show track the progress, maybe if you look sick and you've gotten better or whatever that looks like, however it is that you just want to document your specific cure, and even written pieces. Sometimes people like to kind of write like a journal, and that would even be another thing that wouldn't be a part of a video necessarily, but on the web page. If somebody wants to make it into like a journal type thing where they just, every couple of days kind of log what they've been through, that's even acceptable. I could post those up because people a lot of times will like to read that. I get a lot of requests for people just wanting to know other stories or other treatments, what they've gone through, what they did. So for people to be able to read that would also be good. If you don't want to make a video, you could even, just do like some type of a journal. And submit that on a weekly basis or whatever after you're done. Submit it all at once, however you feel. So anything that's going to be relevant to someone who has cancer and is going to make them feel comfortable choosing cannabis oil as the treatment, that's sort of what we're looking for here.
Fantastic. And, of course, I kind of like what you said near the start of your little talk here, that from start to finish, the intention here is, and that's, of course, why we're saying ideally people who have just recently been diagnosed with cancer. But, of course, this is still applicable for any of you at any stage that are still dealing with cancer. But ideally what we'd like to have is all the documentation, your videos and paperwork of everything from start to finish, all the way to, wouldn't it be wonderful to have a recording of your doctor saying, I just can't explain it, but
right.
It's gone.
That would be very nice if people would be brave enough to do that. And myself, I would have no problems doing that. But that would may cause some issues for people having to take a camera into their doctor. But that's what it'll take. If we can get doctors on tape baffled, as opposed to people reading the stories that the doctor was baffled. If we can show a doctor that was baffled on tape, that would be a very good thing, to kind of prove the point and for people to feel confident in what they're, choosing to do. So,
ladies and gentlemen, as I'm sure that by now it should be apparent and clear in your minds, this is an important project. There are actually these two projects, because remember, there's really two aspects to this project. One of people who've already had cancer sending in testimonials, and it's really just a verbal information, and of course any supporting documents that you can show along with that. But of course, the second project, if we can actually get several people literally documenting everything from A to Z, from start to finish. Like maybe not necessarily from the first doctor's appointment where they got diagnosed with cancer, but pretty soon after that, having everything documented, showing yes, definitely have cancer, no doubts about it, all the way to having the baffled doctor and saying, well, I guess you're going to live now. You know what? That would be absolutely fantastic to really convey in a powerful way the message that cannabis works. Of course, there's literally scattered throughout the internet, and so many people, of course, share their testimonials of how cannabis has helped them with various different ailments, not just cancer, but of course, there's thousands and thousands of people who've been claiming anecdotally that it's been helping with their cancer. But what we need is more proof and more solid anecdotal evidence. Again, this is not scientific research that we're gathering here, folks. This is still anecdotal. But who can argue with this level of anecdotal evidence? When you have tons of people showing, hey, this is the proof that I've been diagnosed with cancer. Here's a proof that I no longer have cancer, and sharing this kind of information that, hey, what worked for me is cannabis. I mean, Lincoln, wouldn't that be fantastic, a resource to actually have available for people?
Yeah, and that's what I would like to be able to direct people to that. I have the testimonial page there as it is now. It's got a handful of testimonials, but I've not, I haven't came across one that has been worth putting up there. Another one's been worth putting up there again. There are a lot of people that are in contact with me, in communication with me, that are being helped, but once they're done, or once they email me and said their treatment's finished, I don't hear from them again. And again, I believe it's just being afraid, and sometimes people don't put their names in the emails, and you can tell the emails are just made up to email me, just so that they don't get in trouble. You can tell that people are very, very eerie of saying who they are, but they want to thank you because their husband is still alive, or their wife is still alive. So that's the thing. If people can just get over being scared and just decide to put their face on there, or just to tell their story, it's really going to help a lot of people. And for what it's worth, there's hundreds of thousands of hits to the site. So and it's worldwide. There's hundreds, 170, 180 countries I think have accessed the website with multiple languages. So it's going to help a broad amount of people. So don't just take it for that it's going to help people kind of in your area. It's going to be a worldwide type of help. People all over the world access it and they're helped. And I've been contacted from people in Australia, Croatia, Africa, all over the world where they've found the website and had results. So it will be very, very beneficial to lots of people all over the world if you can just be brave enough just to share your story.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And just for what it's worth, I'll just put this out there. Of course, we ask you to be brave and show your face and, of course, share your story. But listen, if you really, really, really don't want to show your face and are really paranoid and afraid about revealing your identity, but your story is still so important, listen, if the only way that you'll do it is by having a scarf wrapped around your face, sunglasses, and a hat on so that you're completely disguised, obviously that's not ideal, but it's still better than nothing. Obviously someone who's, you can hear in their voice that they're passionate about what they're saying, that, sharing your story, even if you conceal your identity in that way. You can wear a mask if you want to. I just recommend you don't wear the anonymous mask. I think it's a fantastic group, right. But just because, of course, it's not to be confused with them, because this is not an anonymous project. But anyhow, the point is, if you need to conceal your identity, and if that's the only way that you'll share your testimonial, then, of course, please do so. But ideally, people, generally speaking, will believe the story a little bit more if they see the actual face and can read your body language and know that what you're saying is the truth. So we're calling out to all of you who have had cancer or currently have cancer to participate in this fantastic project, because you're going to help a lot of people. You're going to help a tremendous lot of people. And And you know what? We have to thank you in advance for participating and sharing your stories and your anecdotal evidences, and even your actual evidences from your doctors to support that cannabis really does cure cancer. We need to get this message out to the world because people are suffering. People are dying. In this day and age, we have the cure for cancer. We have all this information, and yet people are ignorant about it.
Yep.
They don't know about it. And with your help, we can help.
That's what we have to do. With everybody's help, anyone that's listening, it will be it'll be key to helping people not die. So just feel good about it. If you decide that you want to participate, feel good that you're actually making a positive difference in the world, as opposed to, a lot of people are more, self-absorbed and worried with what's going on in their own lives. And to take time out of your day to make a video to help someone else who doesn't even know you, that's a very kind gesture. And so that's what kind of we're looking for, and that's what it's going to take to kind of push this to where people kind of, it's common knowledge that you can use cannabis oil as a treatment for cancer. So everyone's help is going to be needed for this. So I just ask that everyone does help, and anyone that does help, thank you in advance. It's very, very kind of you to be able to put yourself out there like that to help people that you don't even know.
And just to add one more thing as well, there's another kind of help that would be appreciated as well. Neither Lincoln nor I are video experts, but if there's someone out there who's listening and you're some sort of like video editing guru, or whether you work for TV stations or you're just really, really into home videos, whatever it is, if you feel called to assist in this project, to literally take some of these videos and to help crunch them and to create a documentary or something along these lines, your help would definitely be very welcome. So just contact us or contact Lincoln on the website. This project is more than just us working on this. The more people that can help out with this project, the better it can be, and the better it can be for everyone.
Right.
So if there's ways that you can foresee that we haven't mentioned that you can be of help, please offer your help, and we're definitely open to hearing how you can plug in and work together to make something absolutely incredible for everyone.
Right.
So Lincoln, so of course you said this is all going to be housed on your website there. So what will be the title of the page or the button that they can click on your website in order to access everything that we've just been talking about?
Well, the page will be called it'll just be Project Cure Yourself. So it'll be cureyourOwnCancer.org/Project Cure Yourself. I don't know exactly how it'll look because I've not posted it up to make it live yet. But once that happens, on the testimonial page, I'll just put like a link that shows where you can go to submit it, and then it'll link you over to the page explaining the project, what we're looking for. And then as I receive the videos, say I receive 5 or 6, as they go, I'll just put them up as they go, so that you can kind of read about it and then scroll down through the page and see the videos that I've had submitted, or if it was a journal entry or whatever it may be. And then once I've got enough of them where I feel I can kind of crunch them together, then we'll come up with some type of documentary type of thing, put it all together, and then we'll put that up on the site, and then we'll kind of put that out. But it'll just be easy to find. If you go to cureyourOwnCancer.org and go to the testimonial page, it'll be linked there, and then once I get the page up and active, I'll be putting it all over Facebook and Twitter. It'll be all over the place for people to see. So, and if you want to email me, if you have questions and you don't even want to go to the website, you just want to straight email me, you can email me. My email is Lincoln, LINCOLN .Horsley, HORSLEY @cureyourOwnCancer.org. So you can just email me there. You can send the questions there, whatever it is about this. But the page will be up here in the next few days or so.
Well, fantastic. So, of course, it'll be ready in time for the summit, I guess, for people. When they hear this audio, they can come over to the website, and of course, this page will be done. And you know what? I'm really optimistic. I'm really hopeful to actually see this page growing over the next year with tons of videos, tons of testimonials. May this be a fabulous, fabulous resource for people who are currently dealing with cancer, and may they come to this website, see all these testimonials, and really come away feeling inspired that, hey, you know what? I don't have a death sentence. I'm going to live. This is going to work for me. If it worked for all these other people, why not? It can work for me too, right? And so, So thank you, Lincoln, for doing this project, for everything that you're doing. I think you deserve a lot of praise, and again, you're doing this. This is not a for-profit project. This is a for-passion project, and
that's all it's about. I don't want anyone to think that it's anything else. This is just about helping people. So that's all I'm trying to do. So hopefully we can get a bunch of other people on board and want to help me out. So.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening. And for those of you who can contribute something, whether your past cancer experience, current cancer experience, or other skills and resources that you can add to this project, looking forward to hearing from all of you. And thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, man.